What if you could have a digital assistant that understands your work, speaks your language, and helps you grow your influence as a leader in healthcare? Well, these are exciting times to be living in because today I'm going to show you how to build that very thing. Hi, I'm Rafat Fields, and in this video, I'll walk you through how to build a custom ChatGPT bot designed for healthcare professionals and public health advocates. We'll explore how to train your bot, upload the right documents, and unlock its potential to make the most impact for you. Whether that's coaching private clients, hosting workshops, or selling digital tools. Stick around to the very end for access to a downloadable digital PDF document and access to an example bot, the Advocacy Ally GPT, where you can get ideas and inspiration to help you build your own. This is the first of what I like to call a power up-a-thon. Some circles may call these hackathons, but I'm putting my own spin on it because branding is what we do. Get it? Power to rise, power up-a-thon. Okay, I hope you made that connection with me. Anyway, these sessions are so impactful because for anyone who is not accustomed to developing or building with technology, what I want to do is come alongside you and show you I am not the end all be all in terms of understanding the developer things. What I can do is invest time in learning some tricks. As I learn, I want to share them with my communities. One of the first things that we're going to do is build your custom ChatGPT bot. I want you to understand that this concept of a power up-a-thon is something we're planning to do once a month. And we would love your insight and feedback on what type of tech skills would you like to learn on this channel. Let the power up-a-thon begin. Let's start building. We're going to dig into this in a couple of sections. Let's get started with walking through the steps of what we're going to do. And then I'm going to show you the back end of the system, how to build your own bot. You can watch it completely through and then come back to it. Some people, that's the best way for them to learn. If that's who you are, lean into that. For others, they're going to want to watch it, pause, have side-by-side screens where you may have dual monitors or you may have an iPad playing the video while you're working on your laptop and building in real time. Whatever type of learner you are welcome here, and we are committed to getting resources that will help your journey go faster. So here's what you can expect to be doing with your time as we build this bot. Step one, have a clear sense of identity. Who are you looking to serve with your bot, and what type of value do you want to create for them? The key to having a really good chat GPT assistant is assigning it a very specific role and then giving it the resources, the context that it needs to serve in that function. This is where we always want to begin with building our own bot. Next, we're going to take some time to arrange the tools that you're going to need to do this successfully. Not just building the bot, but managing it, updating it over time. First things first, you need to understand that if you're planning to share this ChatGPT with others, I highly recommend you getting a ChatGPT Plus subscription. It is required to share it, and you can use it for yourself. You can use it where you selectively give people the link, or you can register it in the store. But there's some enhanced functionalities and features for ChatGPT and OpenAI's platform that come when you go to that upgraded membership. As of this recording, January 2025, it is $20 a month and a steal. Run, take my money. They deliver so much value many, many, many times over. There's so many things that you can do with these enhanced features. This is a complete no-brainer. If you are using this in your personal life, if you're using this in a business in any way, in my mind, there's no option. You need to be on the Plus subscription. There are two tools that are going to help you get even more out of this. One is a software platform that allows you to record different types of media, be able to record what's on your computer screen as a video, be able to record you on camera as a video, be able to overlap the two. And from there, potentially even recording audio only. There are a lot of softwares that give you this functionality. It's not just the record function that's important, it's also important to be able to transcribe those recordings into a text document. Being able to put it into a Word document that you can ultimately save as a PDF, very, very important and useful in this process. There are several that I've used over the years, and there are several that I'm using right now. Otter.ai, Veed.io, as well as Descript. Top-notch systems I highly recommend, but there are many, many others. Go and find the one that works best for you. The other thing that I highly recommend is a cloud-based storage platform. Again, many options to choose from. Google Workspace is my preferred choice. However, I have used Microsoft's cloud storage and it's also very good. Some people will use Dropbox. I personally say, you get more out of the Google and the Microsoft based platforms. They can do more than just the cloud based storage. It makes it a little more meaningful if you're building a business where you need to support this functionality. But if you're a casual user, you may find the Dropbox solution works well too. Choose what you need based upon your needs. Have those three things ready to go, have them set up, and then you're ready to get into step number 3. It's time to train your bot. What job did you assign it? Did you make it a policy analyst? Did you make it a content writer? Defining the role of your bot will really drive the conversation around what types of documents you're going to use to upload to the back end of the system so that it's generating content appropriately. In addition to any policy guidance, frameworks that may exist depending on what you're asking it to do, you may also want to upload your personal frameworks. What do you use to guide your clients or educate your clients? What are the things that you've grown to know and understand, the tips and tricks that help people get further over the years? Talk that out into that recording software, or if you're a writer, type it in a Word document, save it as a PDF, upload that as well while you're training. If you have any training materials where you have the rights of ownership, you can upload those as well, which brings me to a very important note about what can and cannot go to the back end of the system. You can upload things that are in the public domain and that the public has been granted access. You're usually going to find that to be the case for things that are policy documents. For example, the public notice with the full text document of the Affordable Care Act, or some of the frameworks that CMS or some of our regulators create as a guideline for all of us to standardize the way we do our work. Those documents are always good to be used in a bot that is around public health. Now, if you are the owner of the concept or the framework, you can make the decision to upload it. However, if you are thinking about uploading things like trainings, recordings, calls that you've had with clients, and you work in healthcare, I want to caution you here. I want you to exercise some caution. Remember that anything that is uploaded to the back end of the system can appear in the generated content. And because of HIPAA and the guidelines that we must follow, I would not upload any patient or individual specific content into the back end of the system. If you had a conversation with a client where they ask great questions, you're like, you know what, others need to have this as well. Here's what I would recommend you do. Don't upload the exact transcript from that interaction. Open up a blank document, Microsoft Word, whatever your preference is. Type out or talk out, if you're recording audio, what the questions are and your responses, and then save that with de-identified information on who the people involved were, and then you can take that and upload it to train the bot. There are workarounds to all of this, but remember that we don't want to add any individual specific information into the back end of the system. Also, another word of caution, I am not a licensed attorney or IT specialist. I highly encourage you to work with someone in your organization or within your state who is certified or licensed for that specific thing in that specific area to get guidance on your best standard operating procedure to do the work that you do. Okay, now that we have all that, let's go on to the next step. I know the legal and regulatory stuff is always the most fun. After we get everything vetted and uploaded to the back end of the system, you're going to see, I'll take you through a process on how to test and refine. It's very simple. You're going to ask it a couple of questions and see how those responses start coming back. And to the degree that you are happy or you think it could be better, I'll show you how to make some adjustments here and there that will help your bot get to the place where you want it to be, where it can be the most effective. I'll show you where to find the links and how you can share it in different ways. I'll give you a couple of tips on how to frame the way your bot can be used when you're sharing it with others or you're using it for your own purposes. Okay, now it's the exciting part. I'm gonna take you into the back end of the system as promised and show you how to get started. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bring up a search window. For me, Google's my favorite. You use what works best for you. And we're gonna start with entering the URL. So chatgpt.com, you could also enter it in the browser search section, but you're going to navigate to the inside of the platform. Now, I am a subscribed member. I already have my Plus subscription, and so it's going to take me right inside my account. If you are new to the platform, you're going to go through the process of setting up your very own account. And again, make sure you upgrade to that Plus subscription. But once you do, this is what it looks like on the inside. And a couple of key things to note, you got your chat window here. You also got the GPTs that are going to be loaded for you on the upper left and pinned to the side. If you've pinned them, always pin them, the ones that you use. The thing you're going to want to hone in on is explore GPTs. Once you hit that button, you're going to come into the library section or the storefront section, if you will. You can search for other publicly available GPTs, or you could hit this create button in the upper right corner and start building your very own. Now, if you are just getting started, here's something you can always do. Start on the create side. Both work equally well, but if you like a little guidance in your journey, the create section is going to ask you questions and that you just answer them. So, hi, I'll help you build a new GPT. You can say something like, make a creative who helps generate visuals for new products, or make a software engineer who helps format my code. What would you like to make? Oh, well, here's what. You say, I want to create awareness and education materials for public health coaches, or actually for community health coaches. Let's call them, you guys, community health coaches. These materials would be on topics related to chronic disease management and prevention. Okay? You can make whatever you so desire with your bot, but I'm just giving this as an example to get us started. Now it's going to do some thinking, and then it's going to ask more questions. Now it's going to say, hey, how about you name it something like Community Health Companion? And I'm going to say, that's an awesome name. Let's do it. It's thinking. It's thinking. Okay, so now it's going through the process on the back end of setting up the Community Health Companion. It's going to create an image, and what a cool image it just created. I absolutely love it. If you don't like it, you can ask it to take another pass at it. I'm going to say, no, this image is perfect. We're keeping it. It's thinking. Okay, the profile picture is set, and now we're going to refine how it's going to help. What do we think should be avoided or emphasized in creating this material? Now, what I know about my community health coaches is that the materials should be written in easy to understand language. We are taking highly complex information and sharing it in a way that is culturally and linguistically appropriate. There may be low literacy or educational development in some segments of our audience. Keep the language as concise and simple to understand as possible. Here's something we'll say: when creating individual health management plans, provide step by step guidance whenever possible. When creating human emoji, use dark skin tones. Then I'm going to say, make the writing style professional, warm, and inspiring. Unless otherwise prompted, think like a health coach with a motivational style of communication and teaching. Okay, so in this in this set of instructions, here's what I want you to hone in on. I gave it a specific job. I gave it a style to output the language and the words and the writing in. And I also gave it some direction on when we're writing content for individual plans, we're going to want to make sure that they're step by step, process oriented as much as possible. Just think about it. Here's a visualization that will help you. If you are going to hire a human being to do this role, what are the things you would ask them to do? And what are the things you'd want them to know, or what are the things you'd want them to access and do as part of their standard operating procedures? These are the things that you're going to want to build into the trainings. That's enough for now. We're going to leave it there and let that generate, and then it's going to ask us if it has any more questions. Yes. So keep going along with it. Yes. Always ask questions for clarification or additional context to generate the best quality response. It's thinking. Okay, so it did not pick up on the style guidance that we gave it. I'm going to say again, motivational and inspiring should be the tone. So you just say it again. And keep the style professional but personable, highly relatable to members of the community, regardless of job or economic status. Okay? Let's see. And with that, the initial setup is complete. Now I'm going to show you how to click over to the configure pane, which is as simple as taking your mouse from create and clicking into configure, and you'll see that everything that you set in the background is there for you. It's already in the instruction section. Now we're just going to take what's already here and we're going to start refining it even more. Okay, so now we're going to keep refining the bot. Now that we've given the baseline instructions of what to do, how to operate, now I'm going to show you how to refine the bot by giving it context and a set of knowledge that is, vetted and reliable to start building upon. So one of the things that you're going to do is you've got everything loaded from before into the instructions. There is this part where it says configure your conversation starters. When you land on that reception page for your bot, it's going to give you some prompts, some thought starters on questions you can ask it to generate content for you. The good news is that as the designer, you get to decide what those questions are, and this is how you create them. How do I explain diabetes prevention to a low literacy audience? That was formulated from the previous process where it was asking you questions, but you can ask it to do anything you want. What national chronic disease prevention programs exist to provide resources to community coaches? You can frame that far better than I wrote it. But just as an idea, the point is you get to delete any of the questions that you don't like. Maybe you don't care about flyers. You can just pop that right off. And then guess what? You can also move these around. So however you want your homepage to be, you get to customize what that user experience looks like. Most importantly, down here where it says knowledge, these are the documents that you're going to upload. I've already put in a few examples. You're going to be uploading them from your computer. Again, the social determinants of health playbook is that document that was released by the White House that gave the concept of how the Biden-Harris administration was going to blend services and resources around healthcare, as well as addressing the social determinants of health and doing a whole government approach. There's another document in here that is the full text of the Affordable Care Act, because there's some important consumer health provisions that are included within that legislation. As you're educating your community on programs that impact chronic disease management, perhaps you want to share information on the policies that support that. Whatever you think is relevant in building content and information, you can put it on the back end of the system. The good news is that you can continue to add and enhance as you go along. Now, here's another thing that I think is important in terms of a pro tip, if you will. If you're writing content, I think one of the best things that you can do is give it examples, give it specific examples of authors or public figures that speak and communicate in a way that resonate with your audience. If you spend time with me, when it comes to building a personal brand, you're going to hear me say something like, in the beginning, the brand is about your story, but as you're going to serve others, it's about how they see themselves inside your story. This is an excellent example of that. Putting in these author writing styles is not about you trying to mimic who somebody else is in terms of writing. It's about figuring out what resonates with your audience, what resonates with your community, and translating the concepts that you're teaching to meet them where they are, to find that culturally appropriate language and to frame it in a way that they more readily and easily connect to it. Compile a list of authors, and you can type this into a Word document, you can speak it in, or you can say, here's something that I have done. Create a list of Black authors that have written best-selling books. And then let the ChatGPT help you. Don't start from scratch. If you're like me, having something to react to is really helpful. Awesome. You see the list is populating, right? So now you ask the question to get the list. Here's where the rubber meets the road. You say, this is a great list. Now, take each author and describe their writing style. Outline the type of content they're known for writing with their tone and style of delivery. Okay? This will save you so much time. I'm happy to give you the list, but I want to show you how you can create the list according to who your audience is, because maybe in your community it's not predominantly Black authors that you need. Maybe you want a list of Hispanic authors or authors who are from Asia Pacific Islander background. Whatever the unique demographics are within your community, you can have ChatGPT help you create a highly customized set of guidance that you put into the back end of this bot. You're literally having the bot help you build the bot. This is the best tip I can give you. It's going to help you save so much time. Once you have it, look, these are some of my favorite authors, by the way. Keep in mind, now I kind of cheated the system. It's literally pulling the list of authors that are in the document that I've already loaded. If you're wondering, how does it know me so well? But if you pull this out and you go through the same process, you can continue to give it guidance until you land on the list of authors that you want. What I would do is I would take this information, and if you're not in an open chat window, right now you're in the preview for testing it, you could simply just copy and paste this, and then you could put it into a Word document, into a Google Doc, save it as a PDF, and upload it over here where it says upload files, just the same way that I did. So notice that in this bot, I've given it some examples of author writing styles. I've given it some examples of how to write or frameworks to use to write compelling emails and tell stories, which I think are all a big part of how we create content for the community. Steal these ideas, but make them in your own language, in your own audience preferences. Then once you've done that, you'll come to this right corner, hit update, and guess what? It's spinning, it's thinking, it's figuring out its next best steps. I'm thinking. Okay, just like that, your bot is done. Right now, you can see on the screen that it's currently set in invite only mode. What you can do is go back into View GPT. You can start playing around and testing it. I'm going to go back because it's my bot. It's going to already be pinned, but we're going to come back into edit. I'm going to show you how to get right back in it. You can click share. And when you get to this share GPT screen, you see you have a couple of options. Only me means that you are the only person who has access to the GPT, and it can only be used from within your account. There's perfectly relevant scenarios for where that would happen. The next is I want to selectively share this with people. I want to hand people the link personally or distribute the link through emails, what have you. I don't want any and everybody in the world to have access to the GPT. Perfectly relevant scenarios for why that would be true. I think it's a great option. You can also make this wide open to anybody who encounters it in the store, as I showed you when we got into that open screen. In this case, I think it's cool to have the chat be available to the general public. Anybody who wants to, I'm going to save it, but I can see that I'm going to change one thing about it. You know what? Now that I thought about it, I don't think community health companion is that descriptive. I'm going to say community health coach companion. And now I think that clarifies who this is for. I'm like, oh, if I were searching, what would I be looking for? Health coach would probably be something that would be in my set. That change will help this register more for those searches. Okay, your bot is set up, it's ready to go, you're ready to share it with the world. A couple of things I want to talk about. How to unleash the full potential of your bot to create maximum impact. How are you going to use this bot to build your platform? The possibilities are endless, but a couple of things come top of mind. Lead generation. If you have access to a software that allows you to create forms and deliver email, then one of the things you can do is use your bot as a lead magnet. You can ask people to sign up for a form where they give you their name and address, and then have a template or a PDF one pager that delivers the link for access to the bot. Easy peasy. And then you get to create and cultivate a relationship with an audience over time. Worth it. It's totally worth it. The other thing you can use it for is if you do workshops or events or any form of training, you can have that bot really do a lot of the heavy lifting. You can train it to think and speak the way that you do so that it's helping you get through that ideation process much faster. And then finally, the simplest use of all is creating content. In the landscape of healthcare, there's so many changes, and we're always evolving and accounting for the new policies, the new programs, the new structures that go into place. And how do we update our content to be relevant to the latest thinking? Treatment guidelines changed. And so now it's time to think about what in our education materials need to be revised to make sure that our guidance is tracking with the latest thought leadership. So, one of a million best practices. You can use it to create blog posts, emails, and help you remain top of mind as that leader in the community, helping shape the thought leadership for improving outcomes in your area. And one of the things that comes to mind is if you work with really complex information, asking the bot to break it down into easy to understand concepts. I call it taking it from the sea of data, like this massive pond, and really structuring the lily pads that you need to hop across to get to the other side of that body of water. The AI is awesome at that. You have to validate that the information it's giving you is accurate, but there are ways that you can do that by asking it to create sources and links to the information it used to generate your response. You can ask it to generate policy briefs or other educational materials depending on your audience. If you're coaching clients, you can give it frameworks and standards to use to help build customized individual treatment plans. In this context, it's really important to closely manage the context that the bot is using to generate the content and then thoroughly reviewing it before sharing it with the client. Data really does show that when trained properly, AI tools can really help generate content that is very customized in its approach and more precise in terms of cultural appropriateness to share with your community. Okay, with that, you have everything you need to get started. I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see what you build. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to this channel. We are going to be doing this monthly. We want to know what tools can we give you to activate integrating technology in your day-to-day faster. We look forward to you being a part of our community, and I can't wait to see you in our next Power Up-a-thon. Bye.